elders, they decide exactly where the temporary locations would be, including where the permanent location would be. When they began to work, they selected a place where they would draw water from the San Antonio River and where it would go through and where it would go back into the river. And within 11 months, they already had, according to Fray Mesquia, they already had all of that infrastructure built. On June 11, 1719, is when the king issued the cedula, or the villa. And this was the beginning of the families, and the villa, and the presidio, and the mission. From this point on, we've looked at other historic maps that show the town plan layout, and essentially what we've discovered was Spanish Enlightenment ideology in terms of the golden ratio measurements. And we've been able to tie that with the town plan layout, and it's as if the military surveyor placed his transit level right over the bronze star in San Fernando Cathedral. You know that bronze star that's in front of the altar? Right, that point right there with all the measurements in terms of the overall town plan, based on those historic maps, everything is properly located. Even the curve in the street that we're all familiar with, right next to the courthouse, that kind of does this small little curve, that's because it's following the alignments of the overall town plan layout with the Enlightenment ideology measurements. We've overlaid that in the report to the city, so we've illustrated that, and there's a lot of these aspects of Spanish and Native American cultural traits in the written record that we've been able to document. So the last part that I wanted to talk about was a very important event and how we were all very integral to an international plan that Felipe V had in mind. Why did we come here in the first place? When Felipe V became king, there was a war of succession. And the result of that was a treaty of Reichstadt, where Spain had to give up all of its provinces in the rest of Europe. They were able to keep all the provinces in the peninsula and in the New World. But they had to give up all of their salt mines in Italy and other types of mines. Part of what Felipe V was doing between 1709 and 1716 was planning the War of the Quadruple Alliance to regain the provinces in Italy. But before he could do that, he needed to, and this is all in the Spanish written records, he needed to be able to make a connection between the Caribbean provinces, the province of La Florida, Louisiana, all the way from Monclova down to Mexico City, down to Veracruz. It would have made one big circle throughout Northern America and Central America. The missing link was this place. Because before, all this area from out in West Texas by the Chacon River and the Conchas River and out by Brazos River, our Coahuiltecan cousins had a vast trade network, and they were trading with southeastern tribes and southwestern tribes, and all of their roads were connected here in San Antonio. And it also happened to be the area that King Felipe V needed the most to make that international connection. As part of that, in the written records, we hear the stories of how the horses and other supplies went missing somewhere in between San Gabriel River and the Brazos River, which is the Rancheria Grande area. Rancheria Grande was a large commercial center of 23 native tribes, of nations that would trade with the southeastern groups. La Junta de los Rios is the other large commercial trade network center out in West Texas. And then there was a third one in northern Mexico today where they had their sacred picking fields. At the time that La Villa de Vera was established, it was so important, the king had required that Alarcón find a navigable route up the Brazos River to establish all the requirements for the duty recognition of that area for a villa and a mission in the Rancheria Grande area. It was so important that the 23 nation groups came here on September 5th, and they elected El Cuyon, their leader, the Inupipiame leader of the entire area. And one of the ceremonies that they had was a grand ceremony where all of the Coahuiltecan clan members came out in a big celebration with all of the Spanish. They did the customary salutes and playing the drums, and then the viceroy, the General Alarcon, named El Cuyon as the native governor of the Rancheria Grande area in a similar fashion to what Atigre did in 1709 with our Coahuiltecan cousins here at San Pedro Springs, at the springs here, at these sacred waters. And so the 23 nation chiefs come here, and then they eventually go back after a few days and hand out the rest of the gifts according to the ceremonial practices. What we're about to reenact here is something that was done on a repeated basis under legal requirements, and it was done in a very specific way, and there was anything that was ad hoc about it. And that's one of the most important things that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, is that everything that we did, that our ancestors did, had a purpose and a place within the historical narrative of our ancestors. And as descendants, we recreate that on an annual basis now, and I think that's really important. I want to thank you all for giving me this brief opportunity to kind of give an outline of what the research revealed about our history and about 1718 settlers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was great.